but this is a team that has spent a lot of money. They broke the record for points in League One last season. So not really quite the underdog or Cinderella story going into the championship.
Correct. That's my view. And listen, both things can be true. It's a fun story. It's one that's worth following. It's a good team. But also, this isn't some underdog, this little plucky team. No. They spent more money than everybody in League One. And they set a record, so they did back it up. And yes, getting to the championship is great. But it can't be a situation where it's like, oh my God, they finished 20th, they got survival, what a season. No, if they get relegated, honestly, I'd go far as say, if they're in a relegation battle, like that's a disappointment, that's a failure considering how much money they spent. They've spent $50 million on transfer fees the last 2 seasons, including this summer. Like, that is astronomical numbers for a team that came from League One and now is coming to the championship. So yes, it's a fun story, League One. It's a fun story, but it is not an underdog story, and the expectations need to view it that way. And Wrexham to a lesser extent than Birmingham, but again, this can't just be like, oh, whoa, woe is them. They almost did it. It's like, no, it's all the money there.
An incredibly different situation from Wrexham. Wrexham is a tiny town, not too much going from it. It is the football team. Birmingham is the second biggest city in England. Birmingham City has a lot of history. They're backed by the Peaky Blinders. I mean, come on. This is not an underdog story.
You saw Tom Brady, a minority owner, giving a pep talk saying kick some, I think we can say ass on this show, so I don't know why
Find out.
Let's
find out.
Sorry, everybody. Okay, Bogart, I'm curious, though, for Birmingham City, what would be meeting expectation and then exceeding expectation in the championship?
Yeah, exceeding expectation would be being anywhere near, like, the playoff positions. Again, even if that's, like, 10th, if they're in the mix. Like, somewhere between mid-table and avoiding the relegation fight. Again, I know that sounds like I'm splitting hairs or whatever, but the stabilizing season of not being in the relegation zone, but again, also not really pushing for the playoffs, and then you build again next year.
Okay, well, let's talk about the teams that have the best odds to earn promotion from the championship this season, according to Opta's supercomputer. And we have our own supercomputer sitting here at the desk, Nico Cantor. So as we take a look at this, what do you make of these odds, and does anything kind of stand out to you here?
No, not really. I mean, Sheffield United and then the rest of the pack, right? Those are massive odds in favor of Sheffield. It just comes to show you how competitive the championship is. It is a grueling season. It's brutal. It is unforgiving. And that's why it's so fun to watch week in, week out, because a team on the outside looking in can be on the outside looking in until the very last moment and then clinch a spot in the playoffs, and then your destiny changes. And vice versa. You could be in the playoff hunt all year long, get to the playoff, and then lose in the championship final, lose in the championship playoff semifinal, and then you got to go all over again. The stakes are so high. So incredible to see Sheffield touted as the favorite, but then you see even the likes of Leicester and Ipswich. Man, they're in the mix with a whole peloton of teams that want to make it, and not everybody can make it.
Sheffield United have to know better than anybody just how devastating the championship could be, because they were in a automatic promotion position for a good chunk of the season last year, and then they lose in the promotion playoff final to Sunderland. It's just absolute heartbreak. So maybe not a huge surprise, because they are just a couple seasons now removed from the Premier League. So those are the odds of the teams most likely to get promoted to the Premier League. Well, what about the teams that are most likely to get relegated from the championship? Sorry, Wrexham fans, look away. They do make this list, but if you look at the numbers, the odds are a lot tighter here from team to team. So what do we think?
It's going to be difficult for Charlton Athletic, who are also coming up from League One. It's going to be difficult with them coming behind Wrexham and Birmingham into this division. They had been there for a long time before. The club is in a much better spot than it had been. It's going to be an uphill battle for them, but they have a fighter's chance of getting out. This is a team that if they would tell you right now, we're going to finish one place above the relegation spots, sign it right now, we're good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that relegation battle looks like.
To your point of Birmingham City, you look at that graphic and they're not there. Right? So, great to see your words backed up by stats.
Let's get our good friend Jeff Shreve's thoughts on all of this. Jeff, you just saw the odds for promotion. You saw the odds for relegation. What do you make of what you saw there from Opta's supercomputer as we go to our Super Jeff?
Ali, I would say it was nothing like super. I mean, where was Sheffield Wednesday on that graphic? They are stone bonking favourites. There was even a doubt about the game going ahead at the weekend. And also, when you look at the bookmakers' odds, you've got Sheffield United. They're about down in fourth. I mean, Ipswich are clear favourites, followed by Saints. Birmingham ahead of Sheffield United with the bookmakers right now. So I'm afraid the old computer for me has got a bit of a glitch in it. I think it's got a bit rusty over the summer. Maybe some suntan oil has crept into the workings. But no, I'm not on any of that at all. I think the settings are off the machine, as they say. I would rely on our own computer, Nico Cantor, far more than I would Opta's.
Let's do this.
We got to unplug and plug that Opta computer back in. But Jeff, let's talk about Wrexham, because they are looking to do what no team in the English football tier system has ever done before. What does success look like for Wrexham this season, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I can't believe that they were even quoted in the Opta stats for being involved in relegation. I think they're nowhere near that. I think that they would look at a season of consolidation. If they could finish mid-table or above, I think that would be a successful season for them. Listen, you wouldn't rule out a tilt at promotion. You wouldn't rule out a place in the playoffs. But don't forget, this is the most... Look, they can do four in a row would be an unbelievable achievement. Just look at the signings they've made. Connor Cody, Kiefer Moore, and the very astute signing of Josh Windus on a free from the debacle that is Sheffield Wednesday. There's talks of Nathan Broadhead coming from Ipswich would break the club record, £7.5 million. So they are ambitious. They're looking to have a go. But the fact that they're ambitious and looking to have a go also does not tell you how big the gap is, where they've come from and where they are now. It's a huge leap they've made the last 3 seasons, these back-to-back promotions. To go one more would be absolutely incredible. But let's put this in perspective, because we often talk about Wrexham and Birmingham City. Wrexham have come a long way further than Birmingham City. And I genuinely think if they could finish mid-table right now, maybe have a tilt, even have a sniff, be involved vaguely with the playoff places towards the end of the season, that would be a fabulous season for Wrexham. I can't see any more than that. I think they'll be fun to watch. I think the ride will continue. Look at their summer tours, down in Australia. This is a club now that has a global, worldwide following. It's fantastic to see. But, again, this is such a tough division. I genuinely think it's the toughest league in the world, bar none. And it's almost like snakes and ladders. You can be doing so well, you get so close to the top, and then all of a sudden, a few bad results, you gone.
Absolutely.
So
we call it Candyland over here, Jeff, but I totally get the reference. Listen, almost for Wrexham fans, it feels like since the Hollywood takeover, it's been too good to be true. Because they only know the good times under the new ownership, right? It's been a meteoric rise. There has to be some adversity coming up soon. Can they learn something from a team like Luton, for example, that has been this elevator in English football? They've gone all the way from non-league to the Premier League and now back down a couple divisions.
Well, what you can learn from it, Nico, but at the same time, what you can do about it are two very different things. You're talking about volatility here, aren't you? Luton, to have back-to-back relegations was just absolutely disastrous from them in a sporting sense. So you have to, I think what you would learn, and not necessarily from Luton, but from other clubs as well, you have to have the players which are suited to that division, because the players that get you out of one division and into another are not necessarily the players that will make you successful in that division. Case in point, Paul Mullin, poster boy for Wrexham's success. He's farmed out. He's gone. Ollie Palmer did fantastically since he came in January. Phil Parker says, no, he can go. He's not part of the future as far as I'm concerned. There is no room for sentiment, none whatsoever. And I think that's possibly the learnings you could take from Luton Town. Don't hang on to a manager for too long if he doesn't look like he's the guy, because Phil Parkinson, he's had over 1,000 games as a manager, but I think only about 140, 150 in the championship level. So this will be a test for him as well. He's more than capable, but, the target, if you like, all eyes are squarely on Wrexham because they've made so much noise. And I don't say this in a derogatory fashion. I love what they've done. I think it's a fantastic story. But people were saying, go on then, let's see what you've got. You're up with the big boys now. Can you do it? And to be honest with you, I think they will absolutely revel in that status. They'll say, yeah, okay, bring it on. I like the signings they've made. I think they're solid. And in Phil Parkinson, you've got a very straightforward, understated, but extremely capable manager as well. So if you like, he's the reverse of the Hollywood-type image that Wrexham have. But there's also a lot of other important people behind the scenes, their talent scouts and their recruitment department. They're working really hard all the time because now people think that Wrexham pay the big bucks. So they're going to be offered players or linked with players who never previously would have been on their radar. So the fact that their ambition is still continuing to rise alongside their achievement it's a really, really exciting thing for their fans. But I just do not see them in any danger this season at all.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Sheffield Wednesday. You kind of touched on in the beginning some of the issues that they're facing. So what kind of context can you give us here?
Well, update today is that CHAAAMPIONSSS has paid the wages for this month. So this fixture against Leicester City will go ahead this Sunday. There was a huge doubt about what sort of team they can field. I've got no idea. They've got a transfer embargo. They haven't had any sort of pre-season. And where they will finish after this, who knows? Will they be able to complete the season? He's desperate to sell the club. He's been there for 10 years now. They've had good times. They've had promotion under him. Danny Roll's gone. So now you've got Henrik Pedersen, who was his assistant. He has got management experience, but you just wonder about the motivation for the players. Yes, sure, they are professional footballers, and yes, they have pride in their job, but when you're not sure whether, you're going to get paid, many of these players will have families, they'll have children, they'll have mortgages to pay. So they cannot afford to let the badly run club that is Sheffield Wednesday affect their futures. So it's nigh on impossible. I think Barry Bannon will appear on Sunday against Leicester City. There is a planned protest. The fans only going in after 5 minutes. But again, it's a dilemma for the fans. You have to feel sorry for them as well because they love their club. Well, you know how much fans support their clubs. It's the epicentre of their lives. And they're seeing this great historical club fall into pieces. But what can they do? What can they actually do? Now, the club owes CHAAAMPIONSSS a lot of money. I think he's in for about £200 million. So going into administration, he would be the person who'd be hit hardest in the pocket. There's rumours of various buyers coming forwards. There's been talks, but nothing concrete. So it's a matter, it's like timeline, if you like, how much they can limp along and get through the season. They need somebody to come in. They need an injection of funds. They need an injection of clarity more than anything else. But given that, I can only see them as stone bonking favourites for relegation.
Jeff, I agree with you there, and I've spoken to some people within and around the club during this fiasco. Some of the players who departed, Josh Windass is one of them that you named already. He loves that club, and
yeah.
it was the signs were there for a couple months. And I will say, so you talk about takeovers. Sources have confirmed to me that, John Textor is really in the mix there.
No
Is
way.
that something that would actually help the club, or is this, not quite what fans might want?
Oy.
Listen, it could be John Textor or it could be John Wayne. Anybody arrives with money right now, coming over the hill on a horse, they'll take it. So they just want him out. Simple as that.